So what's up, guys? Kitty Chris back at the video. It's time for the story about the plane ride of hell. It was on the story about a dark sign from the ring. It's on this type of story was happening. And you know, I've been looking for one of the stories with something like is what went down here. Like it was gonna be a little storytelling about with the JR, Rob Van Dam, and to the crowd talk about a story. Tom and Dream was gonna happen in the story. So far ahead enough. I tell you the story happened. I'm starting from the beginning to the end, and then what happened at this time of May 4th, 2002, up upon May 5th, becoming WWE, and until the last moment of WWF. What went down here is happening with the interesting pay-per-view. What the last WWF pay-per-view was a most exciting starting here. So right after this time, they've been accused here. They were like a varsity football team, like and please them to see what's going on here. And I'm pretty sure you didn't know what's going on here. So the clips that we did is just seeing it, what we went down, what we ever saw, what we didn't see it, and then what we went happening. And now we're coming to dig of it. What went down in the plane of hell this week? I don't know why we gotta get up out of the story here, because this is what's happening when the stewardess had a settlement and have allegations going on, and then, in my opinion, is what's gonna happen. It would never been some relationship, and now I didn't know what's happening a week in, a week out, and you know what's happening here, and this shit is really good attention right now. So right about that, I would see what's going on, the plane of hell, and definitely what's going to happen. The worst going on here, the worst been happening is this. It is one went down, the plane ride is that what is what went down here. I mean, you gotta check it out, what's going on, and definitely is what happening this story. You know, Tom Tree was there, Bradshaw, Michael P.S. Hayes, Terry was there also, and you get to know what's going on, and then let's see what comes out of this story. Bruh, what the hell are they doing out this shit? And you didn't say a goddamn day about this? I don't know. But let's just think what you feel. Let's go back. I mean, we gotta take it this whole way back here on 2002 here. It all started March 22nd, 26th, I'm afraid. March 26th, 2001, when same man bought WCW and lost the Monday Night Nitro here. Monday Night Nitro had the final episodes of the man won the competition here, and because the man just bought all the stock coming between WCW and ECW. So then the alliance came together on July 9th, 2001, and because the alliance formed with WCW and ECW as well, along with Shane McMahon and Stephanie McMahon, who have been a little alliance here without doubt, out of sight, and with out of 4 years. So now, and upon the film 2001, and because of that, the alliance is dead. It was over. They had no longer jobs. They had no longer here on this WWECW here. The WWECW has officially ended there on this rival feuds between WWF as well, because the brand extension here on this March 2002, with this brand extension between the ECW, former ECW, and WCW, who has a lot of people to get a extension of the ball here. Upon with Flair and 50 Man, separate companies between Raw and SmackDown, who got a little bit on the 100% of this company, 100% of this brand, and you know they had a little excitement going on in the beginning of the year, because this is gonna be the day after Backlash. The WF Backlash on this pay-per-view between the Stone Cold Steve Austin for the Undertaker for the number one contender, although it's better referee with Flair, and of course the Hulk Hogan for the Triple H for the WWF champion, and of course the one of the other matches they have all the here at Backlash, just because I'm gonna put Backlash sits on this weekend, so I hope that we see what happened before. But now, on the very same day here, they travel to Europe, they travel to Canada, they travel every day. The day after WrestleMania, WrestleMania 17, I'm afraid, No, 16. No, but they had to WrestleMania 18. That's one of the matches between Hulk Hogan and the Hulk Hogan and The Rock, who had a match. And at the beginning of the story, again, we'd seen a former WWE in ECW start on the draft and make sure that happen. And first and foremost, we've seen an interaction right before Judgment Day 2002. And from that moment on, this was on the fly here in the car playing right here was start. And it started with the interaction 2002, the final pay-per-view interaction on WWF was, it is, and what happened before. And now they able to start on tours, return to Europe here, and to see people around here, to see all the people that were stores. They got a little less more often, got big, and got bigger stars like everybody else here. You see with the Pervert, Brock Lesnar, everybody else would that show up to the shows, and now they were here, and now they're all something. They got a little crazier than that.
And this is 2 months removed from WrestleMania 18, live in the Sky Dome in Toronto, where they had nearly 70,000 people in the seats. The amount of money that they were raking in was crazy. And to know all of this and still what happened on the plane ride happened, that is the level of carelessness I cannot understand by people just happening to get that intoxicated to operate the way they did. But let's get into it.
We were delayed for 7 hours before the plane takes off.
I wonder why they let the plane take off. And more importantly, taking off the plane was crazy. And now, this is what happened to the plane right now. The weather has been delayed that they can get back home in Canada, to get back home in the States. So you know, what just happened to the plane over here? They got have a weather delay. The stewardess named Heidi Doyle was to talk about that sitting in the tarmac. The one thing they're saying here, the day after what happened after the interaction preview was going to play, they had 7 planes here to go here with Booker T's on there, Jerry the King Laura, what else? Triple H, Chris Jericho. Everybody was on the plane, and Adriel was there too. So now, why they had the 7 planes? That the first plane was taken off, right? So now they taking off the first plane here, and now the second plane tried to take it off the land here, because they were delayed so easily. So the moment Heidi was talking about here, but Heidi said this, what happened? Because they had an amount of liquor running out at the same time. But one thing to say here, it's like more than happened. The amount of the biggest thing in history. What happened in this time here when Heidi said this? They had to set the tarmac and then go over there and see what's going on there. And still, what would happen? That shit was crazy, bro. How the fuck were you doing to see this, man? And you don't know what's going on this weekend. I don't know what it is, bro.
Something I can't wrap my mind around, because I can't seem to envision a circumstance in which you can keep people sat on a plane for 7 hours, bro. Like, if you knew you had a delay and you were unaware of how long it would take, after about 30 minutes to 45 minutes to an hour, I would assume that they would turn the plane around, communicate to the pilot to bring it back to the gate. Do you understand where the taxiway is? That's completely separated from the gate. That's on that runway that the planes increase speed to take off and fly off. So you mean to tell me you left this private plane on the taxiway with nowhere for the people inside to go for 7 hours? This was already a recipe for disaster.
So let me get it straight. They started the plane for 7 hours. 7 hours, bro. You didn't know what's going on here? They went with the plane about 45 minutes off. The one now, the first plane took it off for 45 minutes. Nobody saw it coming. Hell, if we wanted that so easily, that's what it would happen. They've been waiting here. They just sat in the plane for the 45 minutes, 35 minutes. Hell, I don't know what's going on. But the same minute it's going to happen. The same minute. The same behavior that happened. Heidi always talk about, when Heidi talk about she sat on the tarmac and she brought the whole liquor out, then when she do that, I don't know when she got whole liquor, when in the world she do this?
Another liquor carton was ordered. And then a third one was ordered.
Let me get straight. straight. So you go in the tarmac here, the old nigga was out here, and now Ric Flair got all the money he used here, and now you sit there about with a tarmac. You said there a tarmac with a bottle of guys of liquor, and you said about this one. I mean, think about this. You set the tarmac with a liquor was ordered and then ran out, and then the second one was ordered and then ran out. Then the third one was ordered and then they ran out, and now the fourth one was ordered. How many liquors they had about like this, man? You just hear how many liquor it costs? It's a gallon weight of this bar. You see the liquor on this beer. You see the liquor on of wine. You see a bottle of vodka. You see a bottle of wine. You see the bottle of anything that's law here. The liquor go would call the word out of me. They wasted so much habit. You see like a varsity team, like you go on a varsity party and you go to a varsity football plays and you see the varsity teams like going to the football parties like anybody else. Oh, okay. You're drinking beer like anything else happening on floor happening, and like, hey, it what it is, man. And you know what's going on? That the amount of money when Ric Flair was like, hey, let's order a whole lot of hot bottle liquors. Sounds like they had a little more involved in, but the moment too soon, what kind of this loyal, but what kind of a liquor that like a bitter of a $40,000 of liquor cost enough money to waste a lot of way, and you did not have it. You know how to weigh this liquor bottle was? It was amount of liquors, man. You know they see a lot amount of vodkas, amount of crystals out there. You know JT don't say crystals because he got sued for that crystals out of the board, by the way. And you don't know why in the world you going here and sat there in the tarmac and order amounts of liquor.
How the hell did you let this happen?
I don't know. I'm going to die. What's going on here? This man, Kirk Henning, go one-on-one with the pervert, and you're not here. First and foremost, Brock was sleeping. Michael Pierce head punched the man, and then Brock on pin slap on the Michael Pierce head, and then Brock cut this man's ponytail off. So you just seen what happened with Brock Lesnar. Go one-on-one with the perfect Kirk Hennig. I mean, what's going on? You didn't see what's going on? What do you mean what's going to die? What do you mean going to die? You mean you see this man walking back and forth? You see they're finally breaking up going to here? You mean they tell me that's what's going on flight and they're going to play over hell? You didn't see that shit, bro? Ain't that really going on to say this? What? You going to call the PA and say, we're all going to die, we're all going to die. How the hell you didn't see that, bro?
You mean somebody commandeered the PA? How does that even happen?
Here comes one of the pilots at the back of the airplane.
Whoa! Wait a minute. Here comes the pilot's in the plane, but the pilot was on the other pilot on the plane. You didn't see him happen in 4 years? Then they commandeered the PA and they said we all gonna die. And you here come the pilots. That's just why gonna break this fight up. So you can tell me the pilot just passed this off the McMahon and Jim Ross to see what the hell going on? What the hell, son?
Whoa, the pilot came back there, but the pilot's in the cockpit. The cockpit is all the way in the front of the plane. So you mean to tell me the pilot walked past Vince and Linda McMahon to go to the back to try to stop these motherfuckers from fighting? What was Vince doing?
Okay, now that this is out of the way, because this is the thought of the story here. Now, Ric Flair had a set of engagements going on. He had no wrongdoing. He had anything wrong with him, because I, for one day time, I like Ric Flair because he's a legend. He's a Hall of Famer, but he's a 16-time world champion. Because I agree, Tommy Dreamer, he didn't know sacred allocation. He did assault here because he didn't know to all the wrong they doing. Because Tommy Dreamer did get called about Ric Flair. He did talk about this, what happened before they were playing over here. He didn't know what's going on here. So my ad that what is going on here. One thing for certain, if you don't know what's going on with this, man, you know I didn't know what's happening with Ric Flair. He's got a little intention here with this with the allegations and harassment with the stewardess, and you didn't know what's going on here. Well, Heidi didn't know what's going on here with Heidi and the flight attendant did not know it had like a settlement going on here. And you don't know what's going on. Despite the fact here, despite the fact what's going on when this happened, when Heidi had it on here, he didn't know what's going on here. It could be that a sexual joke was definitely wrong. Sexual, it's wrong for anything else at all. And you know what happened? You have a little jokes. It's all just a gag. It's all just a little bit in an easier way, and not that they either look like here. And I for one that's happening. This is where I started out here. I just started to put the cameras back. And you know what it's got to do here? It had never been so easy enough. So, even Ric Flair did not let her harassment I saw here. You know, Tommy Dreamer had cut out the Impact, and now he came back for TNA. So Tommy Dreamer, the hardcore legend, that the interference of violence, spoke about Ric Flair, and he talked about him having a sexual harassment was and is, and how the hell did he do that? So now, just because the thing, he flashed the people, he flashed the through this, he didn't know what's going on. So the moment they do too soon, the moment they didn't see that, it's when the hell that's going on, and you didn't know what's happening. It's happening, it's been late, it's been going on, saying that happening, and I did not know what's happening this week. You don't want to sing things and not going on like that, and it do be stupid like that, bro.
Portion of the episode that starts to get a little disturbing because Tommy Dreamer is doing everything in his power to not only protect, I guess, the business, but also his friend Ric Flair in an effort to kind of excuse his actions of just being playful. But you can't just brush over the fact that this is clear sexual harassment, whether he was under the influence or not. The way that Tommy Dreamer, preferenced his thoughts on what Ric Flair was doing, as if this was something that happened on a regular basis. RVD early in the episode already talked about people putting pills in other people's drinks, messing around just to knock out another wrestler and look at that as fun. Also, other wrestlers putting it in local girls' drinks in an effort to mess around and go rape them. Like, there's so much different things and layers of conversations happening in this episode. There is no way you can get to this particular point, listen to what Tommy Dreamer got to say and say, yo, that makes sense. Homie is bugging, son. You've got to clearly come out and denounce the actions of Ric Flair in 2002. This is different, we're 20 years into the future at this particular point. That's not to make it say that, Ric Flair is still doing it, but you gotta acknowledge this man was in the wrong back then.
I agree with you what happened. You see what happened to putting girls' drinks, and they call themselves roofies. They call it roofies and speed drinks they got with that tend to mess with other girls' drinks. They added matter of girls with your boyfriend here. They added harassment and assault you here. You've seen all the episodes. On the episode, we trying to put roofies in the drinks, and you didn't see that what happened on the college days. One of the college days here, you could put roofies during the parts here. You see one day he knocked out, and of course you don't know that person was a predator, and then that happened before. And you see back then because Tom Creer was confronting his best friend Ric Flair, doesn't know when it exists. I mean, you know what I had for it, but RVD said it was true, but it was true. I seen everything on the line. They put it in H-bomb. They put it in the pills and the drinks. They had no idea what's going on here. They had none that happened special here. None of that's what's wrong, and you didn't see it. It didn't make sense. It makes sense you didn't watch that. None of that is going on with Ric Flair, right? You didn't know what's happening for you this weekend, and I don't know what's going on here. Nobody know makes sense here. Homie did not add a little more. I said, and I say this, it makes sense. Nobody know what happened in 2002. You didn't see what happened, and because you know what happened before, they put a sexual predator arrested. You seen it on people don't know what's going on here. You didn't see what happened before. That story came true. The moment is not easy enough here. The moment that I like to see it back then, it never going on before. But Tommy Dreamer was right about that. They would put a sexual predator need to be arrested, but not Ric Flair. No, if it makes sense in here, homie does not even good enough here. But Tommy Dreamer was correct about this one, and he immediately did not know what's going on here. The fact is, it wasn't too hard enough. It wasn't hard because I know it makes sense here, but that's all the predator does going to the chair, and you know what's going to happen. It's just that damn simple. Nobody knows what that makes sense. I did not see this coming with Flair. It doesn't make sense to me.
That's how she felt. Maybe she should have not not taken a payout and went to the fullest extent of the law to then truly put this heinous person in jail.
Now, don't get me wrong. This particular point made by Tommy Dreamer, I understand in a sense where it is that he's coming from. Because if in the event that you were truly offended, you were truly, bothered by what happened, traumatized by what happened, why would you take the settlement of financial compensation rather than go to the ends of the earth of litigation to make sure that you put this man away?
Said that money has to be that compensation. Like truth and honesty and change is more powerful, but money is what ends up on the table.
But you can't just acknowledge the fact that it actually happened and then make it seem like it wasn't that big of a deal. I think that's where Tommy Dreamer went awry. That's probably why he's, had cut his ties in a sense, or I should say Impact cut their ties with him, because you acknowledged that it transpired at the back of the plane, but you're upset at her reaction of what happened even till this day. Like, that's kind of weird for him to operate that particular way. I understand the thought process, but if it did not happen and it was all just speculation, it was he say, she say kind of situation, I would get, his apprehension to the entire ordeal. But you can't be like, yeah, it did happen. He went back there and did the helicopter dig right in front of him, cornered it right there in the galley, made him, made it possibly touch him, maybe or may not. But it really wasn't that big of a deal.
So basically, that's what the story is true. Because I didn't believe on a Tommy Dreamer because that would happen. But why the hell you put a settlement allegation going on here? Up upon 2004. But now, see what I know what's going to happen. Heidi said it. But Heidi didn't know what's going to excuse. That's all. And whatever happened this weekend. But I'm believing it happened before this. But that's what happened beforehand and never seen it coming. Beforehand, I didn't know Ric Flair did not want to set this man away. But no. There's a second over there. Well, he did flash people on her, and now that get the harassment of people on everybody else that all happened. You just need to put a pill strength. I've never seen it happen. Nobody knows what's going on here. But the same day happened on Song of Dance, he did all the kind of girls what happened. And in my opinion, same day happened to Ric Flair, it all happened. But Tommy Dreamer that cut ties with the impacts with him. He cut ties with Ric Flair and Tommy Dreamer and TNA history. You know what I'm saying this because Tommy Dreamer came back to TNA upon, when Anthem was so to stop. That makes sense here. Homie did that allegation, and you know what I said there, but I know what the happened. It's not big of a deal, because, hey, it's no big deal. Doesn't make sense here. Flair did the thing. Flair did flash people, hit the harassment. What are you so upset? Why are you so mad about him at the settlement? Why you want to send him away?
And just when I thought everything was finished, enter Scott Hall.
Scott Hall, who had just woken up.
As it pertains to Scott Hall, this man has a laundry list of substance abuse issues that are well documented. So when he says,
I have no recollection of the event in question. I have no recollection of the event in question.
Scott Hall did not believe it answering the question, but he did answer recollection in question defense. In defense to the president of this fight, and they pretty insisted what happened. And I 100% believe. I 100% believe this bull. And I'm 100% I was right or wrong. Because Scott Hall did have a subject of abuse, he had a drinking abuse, he had a peer abuse on what happened. Because this what happened to Scott Hall. Ever since he came to the WWF upon No Way Out 2002, along with Hulk Hogan and Kevin Nash, just before he didn't see it coming. But then now, you didn't see what's happening. But then more than once, you didn't know what's going on. So, why we're not here because Scott Hall did it happen to be there. He got fired upon what happened a week ago. He got fired for the segment for the taping of Monday Night Raw upon here, and I didn't expect it. I don't know what Ric Flair did say this, but he did. Scott Hall got fired upon with the episode of Raw. You didn't see what happened for it at the time being. And you know what's going on with Ric Flair and the quarantine of that scene of Scott Hall. Before he gets fined and the finances are having abused, this is what we had before. You think that's what happened? You think having a sexual harassment on Scott Hall or sexual harassment? Absolutely not. Because that's not a way. There's no way in hell it is not good enough here. But what happened to Scott Hall is completely disengaged. Now, I'm the one started having this special. But then the same thing here, but our forehead this year, it is same thing happening. You see the Rick Flair's going on here. You see this man that started going on. The same thing that Earth is didn't know what's going to happen. And y'all mean you ain't never seen it here, but I've never seen it before. But it's never going on the weekend. And I'm reenacting the scene. I'm reenacting this brother who knows what's going on. He had no idea what happened with Legend. He had no clue what's going on with this week. Well, what's going on with Star Hall? But Star Hall didn't say this. He didn't have some of the pews. He just got a little drunk and then passed out. So Heidi couldn't take it anymore. He couldn't take it anymore. Going in the back, and she couldn't take it anymore. She can't take it anymore, but he's strong people. She couldn't take anymore. All of this, she had to done something. She has no idea whatsoever. Not a goddamn thing.
Was hell bent to find out who did it?
I would love to know Bradshaw answer the question. He didn't know what happened at Play by Hell. Anything happened at Dutch Montel Dutch interview with Bradshaw, he didn't know what's going on after Play by Hell. He didn't know what happened is going on. That brother is got slumped and he what's going on here. But Bradshaw didn't answer the question, what would happen?
I went to sleep. Something happened in that. We was in first class. I woke up and that first class section was trashed. I looked up and there was actually a knife
stuck in the wall.
Stuck in the wall. Somebody had thrown a knife and it had stuck in the wall.
Yep.
And they were very, very upset with us.
They were furious.
Didn't we land in Munich?
I think that's right, yeah.
Wasn't that when Razor Ramon had some of his hair cut off? Was that it?
I don't remember if they did or not. I think I was there when Razor. I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that. But it was one of the craziest flights. People talk about that plane ride from hell, which I was on too. There was a lot worse than the plane ride from hell. Plane ride from hell just got reported. That was insane. That whole business class section was trashed. Absolutely trashed. A knife was stuck into the wall. It was crazy.
There was all kind of food on the wall, everything.
Yeah. And
I says, what the hell happened? Were you awake when it went on, John, or no?
Some of it, yeah. A food fight started, some wrestling started. And this was a commercial flight, too. This was not a charter flight. Yeah, a food fight started. So that's where all the food got done. And I'm brand new to the company. I don't want to be involved in any of it. And but I saw the majority of it.
Now, after the series of Playing While We Have, this man had before. But 50 men didn't know what's going on here. After the settlements, on the legals, on the specimens going on here. And this shit is really, really going deep in what happened to Play While. This man is completely disengaged. The 50 man Jim Ross talk about what would happen in the plane While for Hell. It did happen so far ahead. But Mike Yoda did ask him a question, what was this doing and then decided going on here. This shit's going really bad time for him. It's your company, bro. But I know what's going on here. Bring a new company. This man was the chairman of the board right before the CEO of this company of the WWE. And you don't know what's going on here. Gio was responsibility of his aware of Fisherman's idea. So now, this was a second for here. I did not know what happened before here. But Jim was after the agreement. So now, they have a little bit that's going on here. But I'm saying they is, but I would have said this before Jim Ross. So you gotta have it. Yo, it makes sense. I am aware that his responsibility for all people around here. All person around has the story. The story is telling you a little bit fair, and I'm out here. A part of 20 plus years, 2 decades ago. No, 2 decades. So now, I didn't know what's going on here with the part of 2021, all part of 2026, into the years ago here. But that makes sense. And you know how long was in 2026? What that year? Nobody knows what's going on here. But our first thing you know is 2026. This was happening 24 years ago. Nobody knows it's 24 years ago, and 2026 is gonna be 25 years. But this is not how to play by me with a hell, bro. Okay, now that's out of the way. We gotta talk about what happened the day after Playing Wild Hell. All this happened up fight episode, but we gotta see what happened before, and then we gotta see what's going on here. Okay, Star Hall, and of course we gotta see who gets fired and gets fines. What happened to Playing Wild Hell? Kurt Hennig was fired. Okay, Kurt Hennig got fired before it happened altercation to Brock Lesnar, and because of that, he got fired by WWE, and of course he went to TNA upon the late 2002. Oh, I'm afraid this one here. And upon 2003, he passed away from his drug abuse, acute cocaine, but at the same time, he passed away. He was gone. Kurt Hennig is living on here, but upon his passed his son named Kurt Axel, I'm afraid he called him Kurt Axel like that before he was that was Kurt Hennig's son. Well, I'm from one, and he was there a long time ago, but now this is a story with him. But now, Brock Lesnar gets no death penalty actions. He gets no fines. He didn't get fired, but he dropped all the charges what he just done. And then just before that, upon June 2002, on the King of the Ring, the next big thing was Brock Lesnar. Just before that, you didn't see Brock Lesnar before. You didn't see what's going on. Look what Brock Lesnar wanted to say that happened in the state. Now, I don't want to see this happen. Now, Brock did not saw what happened. You didn't see what happened in Brock Lesnar. This is what it's song said done. But I want to see me rewind that quick. Yeah, but Brock Lesnar won the and beat The Rock in 2002 and came in the WWE champion, but then he became that big thing. So now this man Brock Lesnar became himself. Brock Lesnar was on the WWE championship, but now look at this Brock Lesnar here. He beat The Rock on the SummerSlam 2002. I'm afraid we didn't see coming, and you didn't see this, man. Nobody know what happened. Upon these fights, different time opponents like Kurt Angle, The Big Show, The Undertaker, and of course John Cena, and the number of dedicated like Roman Reigns, everybody to the opponent, and nobody else saw coming. And a decade later, Brock Lesnar came in return of 2012 of this April 2nd when Brock Lesnar F5'd them and gave him this man a face him at Extreme Rules. Brock Lesnar came in return, and upon the he faced Triple H, the perfect storm at SummerSlam. Nobody didn't saw it coming, and you didn't see that. Nobody else, and we didn't saw what's going to happen before. And now that day, a decade later, over a decade, we seen Brock Lesnar got his ass retired and gave this man Oprah family win at WrestleMania 42. Was an amazing match, and I am proud of myself that Brock has been officially retired. Remember Gunther last year? He retired Goldberg, and thank God for that here. And upon the charge of 4, Goldberg and Brock Lesnar, who that came to WrestleMania with a WrestleMania 20 was a perfect performance, perfect cool main event, the semi-main event. I would say this because that's all I gotta say. This Brock Lesnar and Goldberg just departed WWE upon 24, and upon the 24, Goldberg done retire, and goes Brock Lesnar done retiring as well in wrestling because finally this well Goldberg retired, Brock Lesnar retired because Darby Ross finally made themselves in peace and got us out of heaven. We don't never see them guys again. Now, as for Goldust, he gets no fines. He got heavy fines. He didn't get fired because he got heavy fines. That's before that happened. In the midst of 2002, Goldust and Booker T won the tag team championships because Booker T just won the tag team championship before the Harlem Heat along Stevie Ray. And then he did great job here because I thought Goldust and Booker T just became a tag team championship because Goldust Booker T just because of one thing Tony and helped themselves to win the tag team championship. And he left an unscathed upon the departure of the WWE upon 2003. Late 2003, my friend, and I'm hoping to Goldust here. And then a decade later, he came back, and Goldust came back from the WWE in the 2009. So now he always been to happen. And now, upon 2019, Goldust one known as Dustin Rhodes, along with Brother Cody, left WWE and went to AEW and started AEW upon 2019 as well. And a country that both brothers made it successful as well. And of course, Dustin Rhodes staying in AEW, and Dustin Rhodes, better known as Goldust, stays AEW because now on, and of course, that makes sense. Nobody knows where that's all coming. Dustin Rhodes just staying in WWE, while Cody Rhodes head of WWE and face off runs upon WrestleMania in 2022. Now, Scott Hall, he got his ass fired before he could leave the airport.
Let Scott go within hours after he got back to the States.
He was half asleep, getting pushed around by Just Incredible. Jim Ross was whispering in this brother's ear once they made it to the gate. When you wake up, you know you're fired, right? Hey, when you wake up, you know you're fired, right? You know you're fired, right?
This man went to get the pink slips, and then this man went to the hotel. Get this man a pink slip here and leave it in his bed here. So now Scott Hall woke up, and then he came in to see the pink slip and became an unpoor man. Didn't know his psyche's not trolling. He's not manipulating all that happened to subject abuse or what happened to Scott Hall. He didn't know that happened going on here. But now, after his firing in WWE, he went to NWA TNA upon June 2002, I'm afraid. It wasn't that easy enough. Beforehand, Scott Hall did honor the successful TNA and NWA TNA. I'm afraid nobody knows where this all happened. Nobody knows. And then what happened in the Plane of Hell? It's just too damn sweet for me. And I'm going to say this, Kevin, because Scott Hall made success with TNA. On several years later, he became a Hall of Famer, and because he called it original Mo, and from known as Scott Hall, because that's because he's a Hall of Famer. And the good guys do. Good guys don't, but bad guys make it do it, because he made it we have out here along the outsider. That man was a legendary of all time, but the Click was a legendary of all time. I mean, we never seen this man that happened before here. But Scott Hall was a different legendary. I didn't know what scene was going to happen. Upon his passing, Scott Hall passed away upon his 2022, March of 2022, and he passed away from this failure. That shit's brutal, man. Brutal. But there was one man who was untouched and left unscathed. The Brown Hall left hiatus 2022, and he was trying 2023. After that departure, the minister of 2002 on my favorite here. The NWO was fell apart because the NWO was falling apart upon having this the pattern midsummer and then all days here, because that the NWO era, because the general manager of Raw is Eric Bischoff, and the SmackDown general manager Stan McMahon became both sides and turned all the both sides here. Michael P.S. Hayes, I don't remember what happened to him, because I don't remember what Michael P.S. Hayes didn't know what happened to him. I don't remember this. All I know, one man unscathed, was untouched, was the next boy, Ric Flair. You see, Ric Flair was all unscathed because he didn't get fired, because he didn't get a sexual harassment and his allegation going on here. This man could be untouched, but now he's mad that Real says, bro, with the big man. He's 16-time world champion. He's getting untouched. You see him, ladies and gentlemen. And you know what this happened for? The day before this man here, for the 14 was Scott's, and all that happened for all billions of dollars. And what happened? So JR said he was the main man, because he didn't get suspended, he didn't get fired upon his retiring upon 2008 when Shawn Michaels beat Ric Flair up at WrestleMania 24. So I think his and WrestleMania mode was the best emotional WrestleMania in history. You think Ric Flair's gonna fire him for that? No. In a way, not at all. So now, Ric Flair was a legend, okay? Ric Flair was a definite legend in the game. He's the dirtiest player of the game. The man, he always become, I didn't say this, because I would never just give it a don't. Because Ric Flair did pass the torch with Charlotte Flair. Upon he became the women's championship, the women's I did see Kim here on having to Kim a superstar on my afraid. And I had to say this. Beforehand, I did say this. This was the best emotional moment I ever seen. So now, even so, Ric Flair did say that all the thing he could do. He was the main man. He didn't get fired for this. He didn't get suspended for this. But now, this man led the game. He did all of the commercial at the commercial here, and he did with the offset, the Ric Flair trip with the music video. Hell, I said this was the offset. He survived that shot, but nobody knows what happened. Ric Flair did what that guy do. He did not engage him without cinnamon, but nah, he did an evolution with this man with Triple H when he wanted Batista. Hell, they been a level in the game. So now, right before the end of this weekend, there's no way in the world that's happened going on. So now, I for one for Ric Flair, and my opinion, that was on been so late so far, and I've been so far. But Ric Flair was a legend of the game, man. Even so, they having a little bit more often. It was never been too sweet for him.
Nothing happened to Ric Flair at all. Why? Because like Jim Ross said, brother was a made man. He's the 16-time world heavyweight champion. He just made his, return to WWE, I think a few months back as the general manager of Raw. Headlined WrestleMania 18 in a co-main event, semi kind of main event. It was somewhere on the card, but let's just be honest, it's Flair and Undertaker. You've got to categorize that as one of the main events, alongside, Hogan and Rock, whatever the case may be. But hell of a match between Flair and Undertaker. You think they're gonna fire Flair? Hell no, they aren't. Does that make it okay? Not at all. But the brother was able to escape completely unscathed.
Is it that Ric Flair evaded any sort of suspension or anything like that?
For lack of a better term, he was a made man. And he was such a high-level made man that you got to pass. Was it the right thing to do? I don't know. You're listening to it, folks. You decide.
And the sheer coincidence and the hilarity of this entire ordeal would have to be in the very day, the following Monday Night Raw, after the plane ride from hell, was the same day that the WWF became the WWE.
So the WWF became the WWE was on the May 5th. The following Monday Night Raw was on May 5th. And because of the last time we seen Scott Hall in the WWE, because the last time here. So the last moment in the WWF, in the final moments of the WCW and ECW upon 2006, by the way, and then ECW upon 2006, by the way, but at the end of 2009, and no, that's 2010, I'm afraid. But now, there was a moment too soon. Like, we seen different moments of WWF in history. The end of the Attitude Era, it became ruthless aggression. So now, the moment it's really on here, the moment inside of the WWF is to get the F out once for all, and because this is the second before, this is the beginning of the WWE before TKO just started right when it was late.
The last memory of the WWF, and Insurrection being the last pay-per-view that was under the umbrella of WWF, was the damn plane ride from hell. You talk about a hell of a way to exit from one title to another. This is wild, bro. You couldn't script a movie like the plane ride from hell.
In conclusion, this is a more plane ride from hell on the story right here. Where everybody said about plane ride from hell, that story came true. So the last moment of WWE, it was the moment too soon. If I would never saw it happen, that story is completely what happened. I, for one, have never seen this. That story was unbelievable. If I would never seen it in the plane from hell, if I never seen what happened about 24 years ago, nobody saw it coming, bro. So now, this is the last moment of a plane from hell, and I never seen it happen. So this weekend, I, for one, that's too damn good. So, right now, if I've never seen it, if I would never have before it. But a plane from hell, it could be a lot less story, more or less, and now, it could be less more often. So they would have a joke or a gag. It could be less story more often. It would never been so easy enough for him. And I never seen this coming. And anybody else saw, but nobody having anything here for. And that story was Tommy Dreamer. What happened in the cut ties, and he cut out the Impact out of the Anthem did cut ties on him here. And now he came back to TNA and I know the person called Silver in my way here. And now they were seeing the storytelling, the story wise seemed a little less more often because instead of the story here with Rob Van Dam was pretty good in telling the story. He was telling the story with Chad Crabble. Just told what happened. He get all the people in the entire kid got wasted and a little less more often. And I mean, seeing this, and I seen it. We watched the episode on Planet of Hell just before I did see that. But from all for one, we're seeing multiplications going on in the story. How many of the story happened? Worthwhile, it just too damn good for us.
I would like to extend my condolences and sympathies to you for what you had to go through on that flight. It is unfortunate that you had to experience something like that still traumatizes you now 19 years later. Nobody needs to go through something like that. And she came off very, very sincere. There are some people who, you can look at them and be like, they lying out their ass. I don't really believe it. But the way that she portrayed her story and how she came off, very, very sincere. Can I confirm that everything that she claimed had happened? No, not at all. However, somebody's got to take responsibility because let's be honest here, the plane ride from hell did indeed happen. A lot of the actions that transpired on the flight did indeed happen. So whether, what happened with Flair, which he's already denounced countless different times, happened or not, there's still a whole lot of different shit that transpired on that flight that would still leave somebody very, very traumatized. So it's a shame that she and her fellow staffers had to go through that,
I feel this is trying to portray someone as a sexual predator, and it's not. It's a joke, it's a gag. I've hung out with Ric Flair, I've never seen him try to force his will against anybody.
Anyone down to all, but you to me, both know that. I for one that it's clear or unscathed here, but the story was true and unbelievable. And I would say this story was unbelievable. I saw it coming. The I for one is this: what Ric Flair did with that deal with the story that's Heidi. That's because they had a settlement and unparted a legal guardian, because that's all legal shit. But all it because I'm gonna say this. My condolence to you guys by sitting here happened. But the people here didn't happen 22 years ago. But the other thing did happen before that. The story wise to tell about this one. Everything is so bad enough, so hard, and I didn't know what's going on here. But I say that happened there. The same damn story. But I say this. WWE did just happen to play with hell. But the last moment, the last people interaction was the last moment for them. I mean, this is under the umbrella. But you can't script a movie. You can't what happened. You couldn't script wide like that. Don't be a script like that. Once it's not a definitely not a script wide, people. You would definitely not write a script. You couldn't even script a movie right here. But what did happen to play right here? It didn't even happen here. But Chris Jericho did narrate what they were having to play right here. It did what happened on that story. But shout out to Chris Jericho who did narrate all the story around here, because WWE definitely having a good story time. But the storyline having enough here. You could have a movie every time you seen this. But buddy, you didn't know what's going on here? The same thing happened before that, and it happened for Tommy Dreamer and Dr. Crumble and Robert Van Dam. They didn't know the story when I said this.
WWE staff now. I am overjoyed that they have not had a situation like this again. Because let me tell you something. Could you imagine if the plane ride from hell happened during the social media age now? Could you imagine if that was 2019, somebody had access to phones and they recorded this? Because remember, people get drunk, they start taking out their phones and recording damn near everything, right? So somebody would have a video of what happened. And we've had, over the course of the last 10 years, a ton of people's, files mess around and get hacked. Imagine if somebody had footage of what happened on the plane ride from hell. All of a sudden, 2025 come around, somebody's phone, somebody's iCloud, somebody's Google Drive mess around and get hacked. And then that footage is now put out there. Do you know how quick WWE's gonna have to freaking battle all kinds of law? Like, it's crazy, bro. I can't believe all of this shit happened. And it was pretty much kept under a rug for 19 years. Because unless somebody brought it up, nobody talked about it. Like this right now is resulting in Tommy Dreamer having, Impact cutting their ties with Tommy Dreamer, Ric Flair getting dropped off of commercial after commercial. Like the repercussions are still happening. I don't think Dustin Rhodes or Goldust is dealing with anything right now. I didn't really see any, news as it pertains to him. But had this been, still in the news, happening left and right without the need of Dark Side of the Ring, motherfuckers would have been in trouble. Best believe they still gonna try to come after Vince McMahon. It's not gonna work because Vince is damn near untouchable. The only thing that ever got close to Vince was the goddamn steroid allegations in the early 90s, and they gonna have an episode about that, and I'm gonna have a review for that one as well. So as far as I'm concerned, WWE somehow was able to walk out of this sumbitch unscathed for the most part. And I'm just glad that we ain't got to deal with something like this ever again.
Yeah, I agree with that one, but I agree with this one. The WWE did left unscathed. The WWE left unscathed with releases like that. The day unscathed, yeah, the New Day left unscathed, just like the New Day did unscathed. The MOTs, Tonga Lord, and JD Mateo left unscathed. Nobody knows what's happening. So, this was the last moment of the New Day. They left unscathed here. They might go sign to AEW whatsoever. They have to know what's going on here. But I'd say this. They have no way to tell what they're talking about. But I don't know what's going on here. They are definitely different kind of cases going to happen. The cases don't know about this. But Tom Treatment did not have it going on. It's been pretty combined the story here. So the storyline could be less more often. They don't know what got with new wrestlers here. They come out one like Raw and SmackDown and NXT and Evolve. That was because LFG's coming out under the storyline. They will come back doing it back then. So the moment it's seen here, that's because the WWE could be a little less more often. Like Chris Canyon they're having a problem here. He had a little mental problems here. I gotta talk about Chris Canyon on here. I gotta talk about Shane Martel, the World Wrestling Lore story here. I gotta talk about the Bash of the Beach 2000. What happened that incident when Hulk Hogan left WCW and came Booker T became the five-time World Championship because out of Booker T, he's a Hall of Fame legend. I'm pretty sure Booker T, he's one of the funniest men to commentate in all history, man. But I say this, man, but I would never forgive that they don't. Your boy Kenny Chris on DV, man. Let me know, comment down below how you guys feel about that the wrestling lore of the claim Robert have. But I debate wrestling lore stories or the different storyline here because this is Mutual Made. It's definitely Mutual Made, man. I'm pretty sure this one this storyline, but shit, it's always said and done, bro. But now we gotta give a little credit on this time. Let me know in the comment down below how you feel about wrestling for hell here, wrestling for playing by hell. All this wrestling on stories here that gonna make it look happen or good story here. But make sure me to hit the comment, subscribe my channel, and hit over to the bell and hit like button on the mentioned videos on this channel. And maybe follow on social media on the daily basis. You both can be on the DV. I'll hug out next time in the next video because this man God's gonna be roast the hell out of me, man. Because peace, one love, now I'm out, y'all. And always, man, one love.
Where everybody saying?
Damn. You mean to tell me you watched the entire video but you haven't subscribed? Hit the subscribe button and become a member on Patreon or on YouTube to get access to the Discord. We're waiting for you in the Shadow Realm.
Roll credits. Roll credits. You're welcome for that.
Do it! Just do it! Make your dreams come true! So just do it!
Please! Please!